So let's just say that we're rolling, shall we? And then everybody, hey, well, welcome to Inside Out Shakespeare. And this is our fabulous cast of Cleanthony and the Caesars. And Cleanthony and the Caesars is a web series that we are producing. That's an adaptation of William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar and Antony and Cleopatra, set in contemporary times. So Adam, you want to talk a little bit about maybe the style that we're using?
Well, the style is, for one thing, it's black and white with a noirish tone, which is not something you see so much anymore. Everybody's got to go color. Even Sin City, which was black and white, you know, had a splash of color. What we're playing with is really just the high contrast, old school Maltese Falcon kind of noir tones.
All right, cool. So we have a really young cast member, and that's Keir. So Keir, you want to talk a little bit about your experience in doing this production?
Well, I'm excited about being able to play a part in Cleanthony and the Caesars because not many people in my generation get this kind of opportunity to do a thing like this. So it's going to be exciting because I've always liked acting. I've always wanted to be an actor. So yeah.
Well, and you hit on a good point because this generation now is the digital generation. So our typical format when we're out playing in parks and whatnot is still a great venue, but we're seeing less and less people going that route. So this particular format and what we have here is an excellent opportunity to start reaching people that are way more in tune with their digital format, right? So they can comfortably sit anywhere they want, check out Shakespeare, maybe there's a report, maybe there's something going on, Google it, boom, here it is, and you can see our series. So there is absolute value, especially connecting the old with the new, and also merging into the two different formats. So that's why one of the reasons why I'm very excited to be a part of this project and move this forward. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I think that we have kind of a little concept that we talk about, that we're taking Shakespeare off the boards and putting him online. So that's what we're doing with a story that has a lot of different elements. Like what? Like,
let's see. In this play of Shakespeare, there is action, drama, murder, mystery.
Everything you could ever ask for.
And then of course,
just to keep you focused on what's going on.
And then there's always, you have to have a love story. So let's talk about the love story a little bit.
Ah, the love story. I play Cleopatra, and Cleopatra owns this organization, the Egyptian company, and owns all the wheat that supplies the world. And again, this is set in modern times, so we basically have a couple of corporations that are warring and warring within corporations. But in order to promote her corporation and what she desires, she takes up with a few rather important men. One being, yeah, she picks them. One being Julius Caesar, who owns the global, he owns another global company.
Roman Legion Corporation.
And
specializes in murders and executions.
Well, not initially.
Not mergers and acquisitions. Sorry, I'm borrowing the line from American Psycho.
And unfortunately, our Caesar isn't here today, but the other person that Cleopatra takes up with is Antony. Mark Antony. And they have quite a torrid affair, I must say. And that ends rather tragically, as anyone who has read both the Shakespeare plays knows. But Antony has a couple of transformations in the play. So.
Well, you're hitting on a good point, though, is the merger of the different plays. So instead of just having, say, a static concept where here's one play and now you got to wait several months for the production company to rehearse and do on the boards, here we're blending the two, which makes perfect sense with this type of storyline. And so you can sit down and get the great essence in the story and just follow it through in one particular format. So, and then that's another fantastic approach to what we're doing here, as opposed to just doing the typical, let's just look one play at a time, let's rehearse our lines, let's act, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. No, we're taking a lens back a bit and putting this great big worldview, if you will, on this particular project by blending the two, making it more relevant today with big corporations, warring nations, dealing with food and famine and combat, love, sex, all of it, all happening at the corporate level, all with Shakespeare's words. So it's a dynamic institution right now.
And that's important to keep in mind, that we are using Shakespeare's words.
Right.
This is, you know, the actual play dialogue, a play's dialogue, and that we are using. We're just setting it in a little different time. And that's what been one of the wonderful things about Shakespeare over the years, is that if you've seen many of Shakespeare's plays, there's all sorts of modern adaptations, and it lends the plays lend themselves to that for the most part. Now there might be a little trouble with some of the communication things since we all carry cell phones now, but nevertheless, it's almost universal time-wise what goes on.
And just as important is, if you haven't seen many of Shakespeare's plays, or any of Shakespeare's plays, this will perhaps give you an entree that going to sit for 2.5 to 3 hours in a theater just isn't enticing you to do. And being a 20-part or projected 20-part series, you'll be able to get it in smaller bites, so you don't have to make that kind of a commitment to begin with. But I think, as we all here sitting on this couch and around us know, is that Shakespeare's really not that foreign and strange. And you know, when people speak about Shakespearean language and what it's like, they really often forget that so many of our phrases and things we say in contemporary language now are all directly taken from the plays of Shakespeare. And it's like, it's much more familiar than you'd ever imagine. And that's kind of the exciting part of a project like this, is I think it'll make people aware a great deal more about what Shakespeare means to us all every day, in a real you know, kind of present fashion. So that's fun.
And I think that's important, the present fashion, and also what Brendan was saying with regard to that. I think combining the plays this way and doing it on the web lends itself to, it seems like one of these miniseries that you see on cable, like Boardwalk Empire and Homeland and all of those, because we break it up into several series, a web series that can be watched. So it actually is much more contemporary and modern than actually going in and sitting in a theater, or again, as Brendan pointed out, we've done it in parks and parking lots and
I mean, it's
numerous other places.
It's really thrilling and exciting to see Shakespeare done like that, in the parks, on the boards, in the theater. And I don't think it's one or the other, because I think like seeing it in this way, you know, like broken up into segments and the whole universe of both plays, like in a series. I think if you haven't discovered Shakespeare and you see it here, you would probably be delighted to go see Julius Caesar when it comes into town or when it comes to your park. So that's kind of, I think you just fall more and more in love with the language and the stories. But the way that this series is set up, it just brings it right up into this immediate world that we're all living in. And it's great that the language is used, you know, interspersed throughout it. So we're getting both.
Yeah, and it's absolutely relevant too, to take it into a contemporary context. We always used to joke backstage in certain productions, it's like, the audience isn't with you until about the second or third act. By then their Shakespearean ears have turned on, so they can start processing what you're saying. Now they understand the human emotion, which is why Shakespeare is forever and timeless, because we're all humans, we have all these great things, and he was able to capture in words what you're feeling inside, that now we rely on film and watch somebody unfold physically without hearing the actual inner monologue. So, sorry, I'm going on a tangent there, but the point is that with the web series, you know, you do get those small bites, you get that introduction, you're able to process it, and the objective here is to really sing that passion home to all viewers, so that once you watch it, it'll resonate. We don't want you to come at it from the perspective of, oh, I saw that, and now you go off and do your own deal. No, we want to plant a seed in there where it just starts to think about and you start to process. Now think about all those great films or stories that you've heard where there's something that's triggered internally, and you just start thinking about, now I got to go back and read that book, now I got to go back and watch that film again, or that TV series. That's the objective. We want that slow roll, that process, that stewing, because we want you to be connected with the language in a way that it hasn't been done before. I mean, this is a new, innovative approach to bringing Shakespeare to the now, to the digital age. And the best way to do that is taking advantage of how people's attention spans are, accepting the fact that people really only have 15, 20 minutes a day, maybe to commit to some sort of entertainment. And we're taking advantage of that and saying, yeah, we can do that, and we can do it in an interesting, compelling way. And this web series is exactly how we're going to do that. We're going to bring that passion, bring that connection, bring it here and now, make it relevant, and make something fantastic with it. So.
And then in that respect, I think we really need to point out that not only is it going to be entertainment, but we're looking at it as being educational also.
Yeah. Oh, something that's the dogs of war.
The dogs of war. Cry havoc.
So let's talk about what does it take to do a web series. Now, what we're going to be showing you as part of our introduction to you is a trailer of the themes and the characters of Cleanthony and the Caesars. But what's going to need to happen next is that we need to create these wonderful episodes that are going to be exciting and thrilling and have all of those scenes of murder and mayhem and all of the things that are going on with that. What do you need to do that? You need to have money to do things like costuming, for editing, for leasing of camera equipment, and just overall the production values that we want to bring to this series. And that's why it's so important for you to be involved. We're not going to be able to do this without your help. Now, some of the things that we're going to do for you, we're going to give you a few opportunities to have some fun. If you contribute to us, you can be involved in a scene. If you have somebody that would love to have a one-liner in the web series, say, hey, I'm contributing this much money, and this person's, I'm giving this as a gift to a person, somebody that's dear to me, that they are going to be actually in this web series.
All the stars have been bought up, so you can't buy names to stars to anybody. So you can actually get lines in a play.
And this is not so far from what we've always done, because when we were Shakespeare in the parking lot, as opposed to Inside Out Shakespeare, we were always pulling in participants to be a part of the scene, and that was the fun. That was the fun element of being able to include people.
And then also, there are going to be scenes that you will not see on the web series that we're going to put together as part of a film, which only you will be able to get if you contribute at a certain level.
Oh, those are good too. Those could be good.
And let's not forget, of course, you always have to have a good party after you put together a project like this. So you would be invited to that party as well. We want to have your involvement. We need your involvement. We want to give you the best product, the best production that we can bring to you. And it's all because of you and your help that we'll be able to do that.
Absolutely. And the real reason people become actors are for the cast parties.
Yeah.
Oh, you're part of that. Yes, be a part of the cast party.
What do we do after the production?
Well, that's the great thing, is that here you are contributing and being a part of something that's fantastic. I mean, it's a simple process. It's something that is ongoing. It's going to happen. You'll be intimately involved with it, and it's just neat. It's neat to be connected with a production like this and something unique.
And let's talk about the approach by doing it as a web series. Why are we doing that? Because we are introducing Shakespeare to a new audience, to people the age of here. Because you know what? The National Endowment for the Arts just came out with a survey that said fewer and fewer people are going to the movies or going to live theater, but where they are spending their time is online. So the arts are still being supported, just in a new way. And we need to embrace this new technology. And it's going to be kids like here and that age that's going to be introduced to Shakespeare. Now, this is not a kids program, let's face it.
No.
The themes that are going on and through this whole Cleanthony and the Caesars are very serious in their mature subject matter. We're talking about world economic failures. We're talking about sexual addiction. We're talking about death, people that have psychological problems. We have one character that cuts herself because she has a hard time dealing with the pressures of the contemporary world. And it's all there in Shakespeare's work. We're putting that all together in a contemporary fashion so that we can see why Shakespeare is thought of as the world's greatest playwright. There's a reason for that, because all of the stories and all of the troubles that all of the characters have gone through are everything that you and I go through every day. As smaller measures perhaps, but we all go through these troubles and all have these issues to deal with as we go through the course of our lives. And that's what brings great drama to a web series, is to use those elements that Shakespeare gave to us, which are used in contemporary film and television. Everything that you see today is all has that start there.
And I'd like to say a little bit in relation to that. When you were saying these are all things that we've experienced, I think that what this really portrays is very complex relationships between and among people. And that's really what we all deal with, no matter what age or, you know, country, whatever. But there's always relationships involved, and they can be very simple, but many times relationships are very complex.
So that's a little bit about Cleanthony and the Caesars and Inside Out Shakespeare. We need your help.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We need, no matter what, when you're doing theater or you're doing a movie or you're doing a web series, the most important element is you, the audience. We have to have you. And we need your help in contributing to make this happen. So please support Cleanthony and the Caesars and Inside Out Shakespeare Productions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.